It is a good morning. It is a good morning. Welcome back to another ICT Shotgun Saturday. This is where I get to jawbone and give you the things that matter most. And it's interesting. I was talking to my son last night. Caleb, he came by, and he said it's interesting reading people's comments and complaints about how your videos are too long when it's you teaching how to make money, and they will never complain about sitting in a 4 hour Twitter space when you're ranting. Why is that? And I told him, I said, I think it's the engagement aspect where drama sells, um, the ruckus, the rowdy stuff. It's more interesting, and it kind of keeps them from falling asleep because you know financial stuff is boring. Really, everybody wants the winner circle experience. And even my son, trying to pursue maximum leverage, 15 contracts. He was trying to get there real quick too. And I don't know if you've been keeping tabs, but he's doing pretty good. I mean, it's not obviously getting rich overnight type thing, but I've never promised that. I did state that if you slowed your roll, okay, if you went at a little bit more realistic pace and didn't put too much pressure on yourself, look for one good setup, one setup that meets the criteria that you have. Look for it, frame the risk, be content with making the amount of money you're aiming for. Once you get it, stop and then watch the rest of the day, or don't look at it and go back and look at it later on in the day and back test it. But don't open yourself up to more risk. And last night when he showed me his account, he is up over $2,500 in his Top Step funded account. When I say funded account, is that really technically correct? Because it says Express at the top of the screen when he shows me his screenshots. That. Do they call that funded? I don't know. All I know is he finally got his payout, and it was nothing nefarious on Top Step's part. But apparently, the DEEL company that was paying out to prop firms, they had him signed up with that, and for whatever reason, they stopped doing business, I guess, with all prop firms or firms rather, with everything that happened to that recent forex company that got caught, frauding people. But the money was sent to him. They asked him to put some paperwork together for him to have his bank information sent, and they got it. And the very next day, he received his funds yesterday. So very thankful for that, Michael Patak. And there's you at Top Step. So I talked to him yesterday, him being Cameron. I told him, I said, listen, you should be thinking about just doing one withdrawal a month. Stay on track doing what you're doing and just do one withdrawal per month. And we worked out his bills, all the expenses he likes to, see spent on. It's about $900 a month. So $900, I told him, I said, if you take $1,200 out, that kind of offsets the tax and it gives you what you're looking for. So that's like your wage. And everything below that or remaining just helps build the account up. So he was like, well, I was, wanting to take, a weekly payout. So what do you think about that? I said, I think you should take one withdrawal per month. Don't be trying to chase the money. So I think he feels it now. He's like, wow, this is spendable money. Like I can go out there and spend this. And it's different. It's different when you make it yourself. It's not like going out there and winning a prize or a contest or someone giving it to you at a birthday or a Christmas. Um, when you earn it and you did it following a process, it's very rewarding. It's very satisfying. And it's one of those wonderful dopamine drops where you feel like you want to get it again immediately. And that's the problem. That's the problem with this industry. That's the problem with trading because it feels overwhelming to be successful on a very short term basis. In the beginning, most of you, if you were all being honest and we were all in a room where we could openly talk about what we have and how much money we have, and you were not afraid or intimidated by anyone making some kind of snide remark about how broke you are. I was broke. I was homeless. I had those periods in my life where I didn't have anything. I had less money than the bank said I should have in the bank account. that's that's where I was. Okay, so I mean, I know what that's like to be broke. And humble beginnings is sometimes one of the best things you could ever come from. Now you're probably thinking, well, you're talking about your son, Cameron. How's that humble beginnings? He's doing it with his own money. He's walking this walk. And true to form, I mean, as a young male, initially everybody thinks they can do everything when they're young. And sometimes you can pull it off. Long term, probably not. And it's just nice to see that, because here's what I was going to do. I was going to go out and I wanted to put together a presentation where taking a very small amount of money, and I was going to do $1,500. I was going to take $1,500, trade with micro contracts, doing one setup per day. And it would probably take me about a year to do it the way I want to present it, because obviously you can see what I did this week. Like I literally slapped the shit out of the market with a live account, folks. Okay. It's not a fucking demo, but that's still playing around. And I think to myself when I woke up, you probably watched what I did this week and thinking, man, I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to trade like ICT doing that. I want to make $35,000 in one day. I want to do $60,000 in a week. I want to make $140,000 in 5.5 weeks. I want to do that. I want to do those things. I want to sit down with you today and just calmly remind you that what's wrong with making $2,500 in 3 weeks? Are you doing that right now? How many times have you tried to make money, big money, and you were denied? Maybe you did have a win here and win there that made you feel like, okay, I got it figured out. The next trade I'm going to take, I'm going to make this much more. I got a target. I got a money management idea that the aspect of growing to this number, that's the management program. Not I got to be around long enough and be able to weather the storm of losing trades because you're new. For the last 3 weeks, I've sat with my youngest son and I explained to him, I said, listen, when you look at these candlesticks, it doesn't mean anything to you, but I want you to tell me what you think it's going to do. Go up or down from where it's at. And we sit with a demo account and we'll push and we'll see if he's right or wrong. And I want him to feel what it feels like to have that feedback of, okay, did what I told him, or not what I told him. It did what I wanted to see it happen in the marketplace. And I asked him, now, what does that make you feel like? Does it feel like you imposed your will on the marketplace? Like you somehow made that happen? Or does it make you feel uncomfortable that you thought it was going to do something and it didn't do it and it denied you? And it's a worthwhile experience for him because he's 16 years old. He's a little bit slower in his development from a vaccine injury. He's not debilitated or anything like that, but he's notably slower than all my boys. And we we take our time with him, and I want him to see, looking at these charts as close as possible. But please don't take what I'm about to say out of context because I can't stand when people try to teach it as a video game. But I want to inspire him to look at it, to have an interest in it because he doesn't have an interest in it. But if I can treat it in a way where he can look at it like that uh, Slither IO game, where it's a little snake game where you go around eating these dots and you grow longer as a snake, and unless you hit another snake or hit the edge of the parameter that makes the boundary for that game, you'll die if you do that. Well, I kind of like teach price action moving across the chart with that perspective in mind. So even though he's 16, he really has the mentality of like a 10-year-old. And it's very, very difficult to try to bridge something with him because of that learning disability. So I try to teach things from a very humble beginning aspect with him. I think he's going to be a very, very challenging project for me, but I'm not going to stop. I'm going to work towards it. And if he can find something, like even with Cameron, what he's doing right now, if he could manage to do that, I would be absolutely ecstatic. But with Cameron, his results, I would like to submit to you that that would be the best starting point for all of you. If you are not profitable, if you've never been, well, let me let me rephrase that, because 100% strike rate winning days, 10 days in a row, that's probably a little bit lofty. If you made that much in 1 month, trading with one contract, one mini contract, you shouldn't look at that and think this isn't enough, because for most people in America, that's a that's a mortgage payment, maybe part of a utility bill, maybe part of a, I guess, a car note payment, a rent and utility bill together. That would do a lot. If that's all you ever amounted to, if you never got past that point and you resisted the temptation to over leverage your account, to trade more than just one good setup, and when you get that good setup for the day, you stop. Let it sit and take root that you did it right. Be comfortable in the fact that you did it right. You didn't do things outside of the program. You didn't do things that were, well, retail minded. More trades, push your edge. Got to do it, got to do it, got to keep going, keep pushing, keep pushing. That's exactly what every gambler does at the casino tables. Win, the girl next to him, hey, you're doing really good. Here, want me to blow on your dice? Subliminally, she's trying to offer something else. You give me some of that money, I'll blow something else. But that whole reckless abandonment of just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, get wrapped up in the frenzy. And then when you take your results to social media, no matter what they are, you're going to have someone that's going to come out and be opposition to you. Oh, well, that's something else. You should have done better than that. I did something better than that, but they won't show you their results. Or they'll show you some stupid shit from 2021. Where the hell's they been trading since 21? They're opinionated on social media. Oh, yeah, I knew this was going to happen, but they have nothing. Humble beginnings, humble beginnings is the right place, because you're going to learn to trust yourself. You're going to learn to trust your model. You're going to learn to do just enough and be content with enough. Let me tell you something. If I could roll back time and be 18 years old, see, Cameron's trading before I started trading. I was 20 years old. And I don't think I could have contained myself if I had what he has in his hands right now. Like, it's a very simple little model. It's very simple. An hourly or a 15-minute high or low that's most likely going to be drawn to for a stop read. You don't need a daily bias for that. You need to have the understanding of the daily range. It's probably made its interim high or low of the day, and there may be a retracement that's expected. Okay. Does it offer at least 15 handles from where you think it's going to be right now until it goes to that low to take the sell side, even if it's going to go higher for the day? Or if we look at the hourly chart, that higher low that is most likely being drawn to, does it offer at least 15 handles? If it does, he's going to drop down into a 30-second chart and aim for that 15 or 60-minute high or low, whatever it is in terms of the draw that he's looking for. And he's not looking for the full move because he's scared to hold it. There's nothing to be afraid of admitting that in the beginning. That's a humble beginning. He's afraid that if he holds on to it, it might turn on him. He has unrealistic fears, just like you do when you're in a trade. It's funny how you're in a winning trade, or the better trades that you should be taking, that you know it's most likely going to reach to a specific level. You can see it going there. It hasn't done it yet, but you can see it happening right in front of you. It's going to shoot right there to it. But in your mind, you're thinking, but I know as soon as I get in it, it's going to drop 30 handles real quick against me. They're going to get me. They're going to get me. Think about that. I just nailed some of you right now, didn't I? And then when it runs to the thing or target you were looking for, you're like, man, why didn't I take that? Right. Why didn't you? Here's the reason why. You were going to trade with more leverage than you should have. You were not entering at a PD array. You were going to just chase price instead of just waiting for it to drop down if you're bullish into an imbalance or run a very, very short term low. If it takes a 1 minute swing low out or a 5 minute swing low out and you're bullish and you're thinking for that 15 minute or 60 minute chart, folks, I'm teaching the model in case you're not paying attention. Once there's a 5 minute or 1 minute stop run against the direction you think the draw is, either the 15 or 60 minute liquidity, then you drop down to a 30-second chart. And the very first fair value gap, you enter on it. Your stop loss is 12 handles, and you aim for best case 15. He wants to grow beyond this, but he doesn't have the comfort level because he hurt himself doing things he was recklessly pushing ahead, trading with more contracts than he should have, blowing combines. Now all of a sudden, the running joke is that it's me trading it. So either I'm 100% strike rate and I can trade and I'm doing his account, or he's following a model and he's doing everything right and it works and it's proof. So you all that don't like me are stuck in a conundrum now, aren't you? Because either way, I'm winning, fuckers. You like that? You like that? The house always has the edge, motherfucker. So having one contract on removes the necessity about worrying about where do I take a partial, because that was also one of the things he was having a hard time with. Where do I take a partial at, Dad? If I have 5 contracts on, I said, first of all, you're fucking up because you're doing 5 contracts. You don't know what it's like to do one. He's learning now. And you should have saw him sporting around here, chest out and shit. He's like, man, this is really cool. It's like, man, and I sent a tweet to y'all. I said, what does it feel like right now? Like, what's it feel like to see that kind of money coming in to your hands where you can spend it? Like, it's different, isn't it? He goes, Dad, it feels really awesome. Like, it feels awesome. Like, I was telling my friend Ashton, it was this and this and this. And I'm like, okay, he's in the typical where I was at when I started making money. You want to tell all your friends, don't. So I told him, I said, don't. They already want to be friends with you because who we are. And that's terrible. And it sounds egotistical, but folks, it's the truth. Okay. It's the truth. And I want him to be liked by his friends because of his character, not what he has, what he can spend on them, what he can allow them to be a participant of with his resources. Not that I teach my children to be stingy or selfish. That's not the case here at all. But I just want him, because he's young, he's impressionable. And people that don't have things but are still lazy and don't want to do what they have to do to get it, they may take advantage of you. And I had friends that were like that. So some of the conversations that we have is me guarding his mind about how he should think about money and how that relationship with other people around the topic of money and affluence, it's it's a tight wire that you have to walk very carefully. And no matter what you do, you're going to be met with challenges that are sometimes very unfortunate. Friendships will fail, or you'll have people that are very venomous to you because they think because you have it and they're your friend, or they call themselves your friend and you haven't really known them that long, you owe them something. And when you don't, then they start drama around you and they start smearing you with things that aren't true about you. And I told him, obviously his girlfriend and him broke up because she went to college. And I told him, I said, don't be in a hurry to race to get with somebody else. The worst thing in the world right now you could do is go out and get someone pregnant because you're just starting your life. You're just starting your life. Humble beginnings. He's starting from that right now. And I'm so proud to see that he's doing it without me lacing his pockets, without me sitting with him and telling him to buy or sell. I did some of that when he was in his combines, when he would be in drawdown on some of them. I'd say, okay, look, what you just did there today, let me show you what you could look at here. And I said, okay, it's going to go there. When would you buy it? And when the fair value gap was there, and if he doesn't see it, I was like, do you see the fair? And then as soon as I say it, he click. That's not me saying buy it, but he knew that I'm pointing out. So he's like, okay, I don't want to miss it. This funded thing he's doing, this express thing, that's all him. And he's doing it from his phone, which, the boy works. He has a job. And some of you think that that's cruel of me. You should just do this for your son. I did that with my oldest boy and it didn't work. He wasted the money, got himself in debt, made frivolous, stupid decisions, put it in crypto and lost it. So now tell me about what I should do. I learned my lesson. I'm not throwing good money after bad. Think about how you would be recklessly spending it if someone just laid money in your hands. When you don't know what you're doing with money, you're going to be a fool. He cares more about this now because it's, number one, making him money. Two, he has a process and a plan that he follows, which is exactly what you're lacking. You might say you have a model. Oh, I know I'm looking for the model 2022. I'm looking for the silver bullet, but are you really entering on that context? Are you really using a stop loss? Because many of you that send me your your screenshots, and sometimes I think that these are the only setups that you probably did correctly for weeks, because I don't see a whole lot of it coming from the same people. But one screenshot will happen, and you'll see the sell or the long entry line, and there's no stop loss, and it's in profit, whether it be a demo or it be live. I don't know. And I'm trying not to be judgmental. I'm not trying to put my finger on any one particular person, but you know who you are if you're listening. If you're not using a stop loss, you're not really following what I'm teaching. So I'm not going to like your post. Okay. I want you to understand that. If there is no stop loss in that screenshot, you'll never see me high five you, and I won't remark anything except for you need to stop or where's your stop. And I don't mean that to be mean to you or embarrass you. It's to remind you that that's more important than your take profit. And I'm going to say that again. Your stop loss is far more important than your take profit, because that take profit's not guaranteed. But it's highly probable that your entry in the beginning as a new student is not as accurate as you want it to be or hope it to be. And you might have to see a measure of correction against your entry and the trade still be good. But what if it isn't? A larger loss is assured at that point then. And if you don't have a stop loss in and you think you can just weather it because you're right, what happens when you're not and it drops 30 handles? Can your combine challenge account handle that? Can your funded account challenge or whatever it is, express thing, can it handle that? Your live account that you have your own hard-earned money in, can it handle that? You might have the money in there to weather it, but does your mental capital have the resolve to hold on to that and still think correctly about the marketplace? Can you manage yourself in that?